At the far edge of California's rugged Pacific coastline, where the wind tastes like salt and the horizon fades into a silver haze, there is a stretch of land guarded not by luxury gates or polished marble, but by weathered wood, soft earth, and silence. A narrow road bends through towering Monterey pines before disappearing into a secluded property that the world has rarely seen. No red carpets, no paparazzi, no spotlight, just nature, and the quiet presence of a man who once defined American cinema. This is where Clint Eastwood, born May 31st, 1930, lives far beyond the Hollywood image the world knows. A man whose career shaped generations, now choosing a life shaped by ocean winds, open trails, and the peace of his private ranch in Carmel, California. And today, we step inside that world. A life shaped by hard beginnings. Before the fame, before the films, before the myth, Clint Eastwood was simply a tall, skinny kid, growing up in the shadow of the Great Depression. Born in San Francisco to working-class parents, his early life was defined by constant moves, hard jobs, and tougher times. His father worked as a steelworker. His mother worked in factories. They didn't have much, but they had grit. Teachers underestimated him. Classmates barely noticed him. A counselor once even predicted he wouldn't amount to anything. But Clint wasn't listening. He was observing, learning, surviving. Every odd job, stacking hay bales, cutting logs, washing dishes, built the quiet resilience that would later define his characters on screen. Drafted during the Korean War, he was stationed at Fort Ord, a training base perched along the coastline. Here, among rugged cliffs and windswept trails, he discovered the land that would one day become his sanctuary. He didn't know then that the ocean he stared at in his youth would be the same ocean he would face every morning as an old man, sipping coffee in silence. The rise of an unlikely icon, Hollywood, wasn't waiting eagerly for Clint Eastwood. In fact, casting directors rejected him over and over again. They said he talked too slowly, smiled too little, and looked too rough. But Clint's roughness would become his power. His silence would become his trademark. His stillness would become a presence no camera could ignore. Small roles led to Rawhide, and Rawhide led to Italy, where Sergio Leone cast him in a small Western trilogy that would change cinema forever. A fistful of dollars for a few dollars more. The good, the bad, and the ugly. These films transformed Clint from a struggling actor into a global myth. His stare became a cinematic language. His walk became legend. His voice, low, quiet, almost whispered, became one of Hollywood's most iconic sounds. Then came Dirty Harry, and Clint Eastwood was no longer just an actor. He was a symbol, a cultural force, the embodiment of American toughness. But the man behind the icon, he preferred something softer, something quieter, something real. And that is why he built his home far away from Hollywood, inside Clint Eastwood's hidden ranch. Clint Eastwood doesn't live in a mansion perched loudly above the sea. He lives inside the land, folded into it, blended with it, respecting it. The first thing you notice about his property isn't the house, it's the silence. The way the wind moves through the pines, the way the fog settles low over the ground like a soft blanket, the way the light filters through branches as if time has slowed just for this place. The home is rustic, timeless, a structure built not to impress, but to endure. Stone walls, timber beams, a low roof line that sinks into the horizon. Everything is crafted to match the natural world around it. Inside, the living room resembles a lodge from another era. A stone fireplace reaches toward the ceiling. Leather chairs sit worn from decades of evenings spent reading scripts, nursing a drink, or simply staring into a fire that crackles with the slow rhythm of solitude. There are no crystal chandeliers, no shimmering art pieces, no excessive displays of wealth. Instead, there are memories, old photographs from film sets, framed shots of Clint on horseback, quiet reminders of a life lived with intention. In one corner sits a grand piano. A secret few outside his inner circle know deeply Clint Eastwood has been a pianist since his youth. When night falls over the ranch, he often sits down and plays jazz melodies that drift into the beams, fading softly into the dark like whispers. The kitchen is warm and earthy, handcrafted cabinetry, old-style appliances, and a window that frames the Pacific Ocean as if it's part of the painting of his life. He often eats simple meals here, listening to the wind or the distant crash of waves. His bedroom is even simpler, modest, humble, a wooden bed frame, heavy blankets, a few treasured photos, a space for rest, not for show. But the soul of this ranch isn't the structure, it's the land. The land that became his refuge. Outside, a private trail winds through the forest. Every morning, Clint walks it slowly, hands in pockets, breathing in the quiet. Deer pause in the grass when they see him. Birds glide overhead. The world moves softly around him, as if it knows he has earned this stillness. Further down are the stables. Horses have always been his companions, not props, not Hollywood tools, but living creatures with their own spirits. He rides when he feels like it. He feeds them himself. A private lake sits deeper into the property, a surface so still it reflects the sky perfectly. Clint often sits beside it in silence, watching ripples expand in slow circles, disappearing into calm. And hidden even further is a place with enormous historical value. Mission Ranch. Built in the 1850s, it was almost demolished until Eastwood bought the land, restored it, and preserved it forever. It's now a peaceful inn and restaurant surrounded by open pasture where sheep graze at sunset. He didn't save it for fame. He saved it because history deserved to live. Beyond the ranch, the fortune he built. Quietly, Clint Eastwood is worth an estimated $400 million, not because he chased wealth, but because he built a career on consistency, passion, and business insight. He often took small salaries and instead negotiated ownership. Unforgiven, $1 Million Baby, and many others paid him for decades because he believed in his work enough to invest in it. His properties stretch beyond Carmel, a $20 million Carmel home, his irreplaceable Mission Ranch, a Bel Air property, a Burbank estate, a retreat in Idaho. Yet none of these homes are extravagantly loud. They are simple, grounded, built for living, not for showing off. His car collection? No neon Lamborghinis, no screaming Ferraris, just machines he values. A Ford pickup, a 1992 GMC Typhoon, a modest Mercedes, his beloved black Cadillac. He doesn't chase attention. He doesn't flaunt anything. His wealth is quiet, like the man himself. A final look at Clint Eastwood's hidden world. As the sun sinks behind his private ranch, a golden haze falls across the land. Clint Eastwood sits on his porch in a wooden chair, wrapped in a blanket, watching the Pacific breathe. This is the man beyond Hollywood. No gunslinger, no outlaw, no detective, just Clint, just a man who built a life that mirrors his soul. Quiet, strong, honest, and unpretentious. His ranch is more than a home. It is his truth, his history, his sanctuary. A place where the myth is no longer needed and the man finally gets to rest. And as the last light fades across the ocean, the world outside still sees him as a legend. But here, on this land, he is simply human. A boy from the Great Depression, a soldier shaped by the sea, a filmmaker who changed Hollywood, a man who chose silence over fame, and a soul who found his peace on the coastline that once saved him. This is where Clint Eastwood really lives, inside the land, inside the quiet, and inside a legacy that will outlast the waves crashing against the cliffs he calls home.